One of the reasons I became a journalist is because I truly believe the field of journalism creates enough room for you to find various sectors that you can dive into. You can explore and find suitable media formats to share your discoveries. This program, Africa's Triumph, is indeed a media piece that serves as a gateway for stories of Africans in the diaspora to be heard. Finding these journalistic beats to own in on brings joy to our TANTV and PGC-TV team. On this episode, you will hear from a young Nigerian man who says he remembers the time growing up in the diaspora when it was just not cool to be an African. Our guest takes us on a journey of growing up in the United States, finding his love for Africa by going back home, and becoming a multi-talented individual who refuses to let anything hold him back from sharing the Afro experience with the world. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Africans are everywhere and are making waves. Time to end the negative narrative and tell our own story. Africans are not made up of the single story negative narrative and image the media has portrayed for decades. There are over 200 million people of African descent throughout the world living outside of Africa, known as the African Diaspora. The diaspora has a role to play because rebranding Africa is going to require a collective effort. This is Africa's Triumph series, where we tell the trial to triumph story of people of African descent. We profile the trailblazers, movers and shakers, business personalities and change makers of the diaspora. An interview series to inspire the African and cosmopolitan millennial to keep pushing for that next level.
Hello and welcome back to another inspirational episode of Africa's Triumph, a show where we uncover some of the continent's best at the top of their fields. I'm your host, Adedayo Fashinu. Wale Ehimidu, also known as MC Wailua, is an entrepreneur, business owner, brand ambassador, entertainer, master of ceremony, and a musical artist. He has lived in the DMV area for over 20 years. His business is in real estate, the founder of All City Groups, also known as All City Flooring and Granite, a Maryland licensed general contracting business and showroom. The company handles full real estate investment, home improvements, projects, and sells remodeling products. So, Wale, it's so good to have you in the studio.
So happy to be here. So happy
welcome.
to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So basically, I want us to kick off with you being in real estate, and then we'll kind of work backwards, right? So what do you do in real estate?
Well, I'm a Maryland licensed general contractor.
Okay.
I invest in real estate. And at the same time, you know, I have a remodeling team and what they call I'm into the retailing business also. Okay. So I provide the services for both the locals and bigger companies. So both residential and commercials. So
basically, you are an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Certified license. Contractor,
yes.
License.
Yes.
Entrepreneur.
I'm an investor.
In the DMV.
Yes.
And how did you find this gap, this niche?
Well, I'm somebody that studied business management, and I'm somebody that like to take advantage of opportunities whenever I see open doors and I see chances. Real estate became, I won't say it was a calling, it was just something that, you know, it's a field that became a career for me. And what I mean by that is it was something I started as a mediocre job when I was quite younger. Okay. And it grew up to me. I've always been somebody who's into handy, anything that has to be handy. So real estate was one of the callings that actually called me apart from entertainment, that I felt, look, this thing you got to study, you got to focus in, and it has a large incentive to rip from.
A lot of, there are two parts of this real estate story that I really want to narrow down to. So some people in the Africans in diaspora, you know, the American dream is to own your own home.
Yes, it is.
Right? And so, but then you have a lot of real estate agents out there. And so how do you match the dream of owning your own home in living in America or in the diaspora to?
Well, I'm like someone like me. I came from a background that grew up in Nigeria, but had the opportunity to live the best of both worlds. Came from Africa. All my parents came to America. They brought me and my siblings to America. But when they brought us here, I realized we didn't have anything we can call our own. So one of the most important things to me was own a piece of the land. Own a piece of the land.
Own a piece of the land.
Own a piece of the land. That's the American dream. And when I started realizing that, look, if you get involved in, first look at it like this, the mentor that actually brought me into the industry, it was somebody that I stayed with and groomed with for 5 years. When I first met him, he had one property. I went to Nigeria, I came back 5 years later, this man owned about 38 properties.
Wow.
And that opened my eyes and said, look, there's something in this business you need to learn. That's when I started doing my finding and diggings.
So you technically, from our conversations, did you say that your first property was at the age of 19?
My first property was between the age of 19 and 21.
19 and 21, you became a landlord at 21.
I became a landlord.
Okay, so our guest here became a landlord at 21 in America.
In America.
You really went for that, own a piece of the land.
What most of my friends were focusing on, I just want to shop, I want to go clubbing, I was somebody who was always understood from ground that, look, if you hold on to this money, you can't keep it forever. So invest it in something, tie it in something. So I've always been disciplined on investment from grassroots.
So it seems to me that you also do renovations with the homes. So which one is easier for somebody who wants to, contact you by watching this show and says, I don't, I want to have a home, but I just want to start small, like just to be a landlord. How would you say the person?
There are different ways you have to look at owning a home. Your home could either be liability or it could be an asset that is reaping your incentive. You can take your money and say, I want to go and buy one big property and just live in it, and you stuck with that $3,500 mortgage every month. It's not making you money. I'm somebody who understands that your money have to work for you. You only have 24 hours in a day, 8 hours on the shift.
Preach. And
if you have 8 hours on a shift, you have to start wondering, after that shift, how else can I make money? This is how your boat thinks. And what I mean by that is, this is how they think. So you have to always think deep. You're not going to live together forever. But what can you leave behind for your next generation? So with that kind of mindset, I realized, look, you can go into real estate in two ways. Either I want to be a homeowner who's just worrying about, after paying my 30-year mortgage, I'm going to just own something that maybe the equity is what I have. Or you can let your money work for you. Invest it in property. Turn them to rentals. Turn them to Airbnb. Turn them into things that can make money for you. Or buy multi-unit apartment. Keep a part. Rent out the rest.
I have a question.
Yes.
So what is the minimum in physical cash that somebody can start with?
You can start as low as good credit, no money. Now, when you now say, what is the minimum? If you gather your expenses, random expenses monthly, by the time you gather 12 months, I'm good. You'll be good enough to know you can put something.
I see what you mean.
As little as good credit.
So you're saying the dream is available to everyone?
It's available to everybody. You just have to learn. Not a lot of people are woke. And what I mean by that is not a lot of people also get the information is key.
Yeah.
When you move with the right circle or you go to the right places, you'll be informed.
I think that when people hear real estate is such a general and verse term, that the meaning, like the finding, it doesn't really speak anymore to people. Do you understand? Everybody says, I'm a real estate agent. But I think that there's something to it. And I know that when I heard about your story, I was like, we have to really talk about this real estate thing and break it down so people can get it. Well, I'm glad we've gotten some part of it. But there's so much more to you, so much more to you, right? And I want us to be able to tie it all together. Sure. I know 30 minutes is not enough, but we'll do something. So you said, just like in my intro, you said that there was a time when it was not cool to be an African in this country.
It wasn't. I'm somebody that kind of grew up in the 1990s here. Yeah. Meaning I came in the early 1990s, and I had the opportunity to be able to do middle school, high school, and at the same time college in this country. And around the time when I came in, I realized one thing. Of course, most of my friends were African Americans, white, Chinese, different race. I didn't discriminate to just my people. Now, around that time, it was kind of hard being accepted because most people couldn't relate. Maybe the accent, the language, what you're used to doing back home is not what it is over here. Okay. I remember it wasn't even cool to say, Mommy, I want to go and spend the night at my friend's house. What are you going to do there? So their culture, religion, all those things, it has meanings to do with it wasn't cool being African back then. What we were used to is not what they're used to. So it kind of took a while before people started getting more informed. Yeah. And this all has to go back with lectures, what people are saying on TV, what people are being taught in school, the mindsets. A lot of people still think we live in bushes in Africa, but thank God, on huts. Yeah. But thank God for the new generation, the internet age, or that people are being more informed. Something will happen in Africa right now, less than 30 seconds. It's on the ground. Yeah. You informed. Worldwide information is traveling faster than it used to.
Yeah, so there's more awareness about, you know, Africa and even with our artists today, you know, likes of Burna Boy, Whiskey,
hey, Burna Boy, dude. I'm glad you said Burna Boy. Music is actually one of the things that brought us together. Believe that. Yeah. When I say music brought us together, music is universal. Meaning different, it speaks to everybody. Different, one language, but people understand tunes and melody. There's message in it. So music was kind of the thing that kind of paved the way for us. Remember, there was a time reggaeton was it in America. There was a time that it was the soca, the merengue, the dancehall. But I guess right now it's just time for Afrobeat.
Afrobeat. So what makes it cool to be an African today?
What makes it cool? Oh my God, peep the swag. You see this? Our culture speaks for us. It's just normal. Like literally, I walk into some places and people would just say, "I know you're different. You're not from here, are you?" And there's no shame in it. There's no shame in it. But people actually want to know more about where we came from. Yeah. And if you look at it, for example, last year, 2019, it was the year of the return in Ghana. Yes. And with the year of the return, I believe, if you see the amount of people that went out to Ghana, in Africa in general, when you look at the celebrities, the entertainer, the regular people, I
think it was record-breaking, isn't it?
Record-breaking. Even I think they said the margin of what the economy brought in around that festive period, it was more than what they would have expected in 6 months. So a lot of people are being more informed now that if you can't go forward, you can go back.
So how does this now tie into your aspiration and the work you've done so far? You know, in the music industry, being a record label owner, and
so music has always been an open door for me. Meaning, music allowed me to be able to connect with people. Music opened opportunities for me. Music, I've always called myself the voice of the less privileged.
The voice of
the less privileged.
The voice of the less privileged.
Yes, and what I mean by that is I wasn't born with a golden spoon or silver spoon, but I understood that one of the greatest things, I always say to my family, like, one of the greatest things my father ever gave me was that blue passport. And what I mean by that, the opportunity to be able to go around the world. Yeah. That opportunity to be able to come here freely and go back, it got me to be able to be more humble. To me, to be able to understand the opportunity I have over some other people. A lot of people that have been following my career, my journey for the past 10 years, they can relate back to when I moved back home to Nigeria to search for the greener path. Yeah. But when I got there, things wasn't what I was expecting. Yeah,
you see, we're going to touch on that particular aspect now. That's where we're going to. That's why I wanted us to start, you know, kind of like rolling backwards.
I got you.
And really, you know, you're a multi-talented individual, right?
I appreciate that.
You're not just someone and that's one thing that connected me to your story and was like, you have to be on this show, is that you're able to diversify your talent, right? Okay, this is music and I'm entertainer and I'm MC and also like doing business, right? Entrepreneur, doing your own thing. You know, so what is one thing that ties it all together for you, especially being an African in the diaspora?
There's never been a shame in my game. I've never thought about faking it to make it.
Wow, I've never thought about faking it to make it. I'm real to a core, and what I mean by that is what most people are afraid to show on the gram, I show it. Like what?
People tell me there's money in the dirt, meaning no matter what you do in life, be proud of it. No matter, as long as you are doing something legit and you are consistent with it, you will never remain in one position. So you show the back scenes that you know, most
like
people wouldn't show.
When you're flooring or when you're doing...
When I'm doing my 9 to 5, or when I'm fresh down in my good attire, I show the both sides. So that when you see me in the future, it's more like I'm laying path for the next to come. And
there's more to you. There's a story.
More to it.
You know what? We have so much more to talk about, you know, but we have to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We have this crazy thing going on today. I was just walking by and all these DJs and producers are set up all around the city.
I just walked by and I said, "What's happening, guys?" And they told me they were making music.
It's the way you walk, it's the way you talk.
There were a lot of people that claimed they had no musical talent and then sat down and kind of made some really nice sounds.
I like this music.
Feel amped about today, inspired musically about life.
They said I could play, so any chance to play at all. You know, that's my life. I love music.
Yeah, I saw her do it.
Welcome back to Africa's Triumph. Before we continue, let's watch a video called Corner, created by MC Wailua.
Hey. That's I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I ain't moving with the crowd, I ain't running after them. I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I ain't moving with the crowd, I ain't running after them. I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. My life in newspaper, y'all reading everything. This one hustle, I won't trade for anything.
This one hustle, I go chill plenty times.
Candle don't flow if the wind don't push. The sun's always out on a sunny day. Gucci, why I hate to go on holidays?
Cause I be losing plenty papers if I take a day off.
We started from the bottom, and now we here. We started from the bottom, and now we here. We started from the bottom, and now I'm here. We started from the bottom, I'm always dead. I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I ain't moving with the crowd, I ain't running after them. Just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I ain't moving with the crowd, I ain't running after them. Just sitting in the corner, doing my. Just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. When I say I'm alright, most don't get it till I pull up in a lot in the latest M series. Straight disrespect from your boys and your missus. Focus on trend, the trend gon' end. Hasta la vista, y'all need me like Visa. ATM only talk cash, Visa. Best day's my worst day. Pray against your curse it. We started from the bottom, now we here. You dig? I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I ain't moving with the crowd, I ain't running after them. Just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I ain't moving with the crowd, I ain't running after them. Just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Why move with the crowd when everybody running? Why ball with the players when I me be coach? I'd rather spend my Friday night counting on my Benjamin, chill on the internet, posting on the internet. People that got money ain't got no worries. Spot them from all ATX. Heard of Big What up? Fly down to DC, I give me one legs. I see him in the corner, dealing in the corner. This goes out to my hustlers, I'm yelling SWAT leg. What you want, mother? Woo. Tell everybody run. I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I ain't moving with the crowd, I ain't running after them. I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. In the corner, doing my thing. I ain't moving with the crowd, I ain't running after them. I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I'm just sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Y'all don't know what it is, do you? GW. What you want, mother? Whoosh. Doing it just the way it does it, baby. We just sitting in the corner.
Wow, sitting in the corner, doing my thing. Sitting in the corner, doing my thing.
I ain't moving with the crowd, I ain't running after them. I'm just sitting in the corner.
Okay, wait, say that again. I'm not moving with the crowd. What do you have to do?
I ain't moving with the crowd, I ain't running after them. I'm just sitting
Yeah,
in the
you know,
corner.
that's true, though. That's what I'm doing. I'm sitting in my corner.
And that's the message I
doing
keep
my
preaching.
thing, yo. You know, like, yeah, that's high five, high five. No, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
So the lyrics gives it all away. The message of the song, sitting in the corner, doing my thing. I'm not chasing after them. I'm just doing my thing. And that's what you're all about, really.
That's what it is. That's what it
you're
is.
chilled. I'm making my money.
That's it. The moment I realized the power and my future was in my own hands, and I took that decision and ran with it. Funniest thing is nobody, even though I released this track and video 1st of January 2020, this track was recorded about 5 to 7 years ago.
Wow.
I have albums that I haven't released. There was one time I was a studio rat in my career.
Wow.
I told you I've always been a studio engineer. And with me being a studio engineer, I'm producing for people, I'm writing for people at the same time. Every opportunity I get, it became like a playground for me. So I have over 100 tracks I've never released.
Tell us about first of all, like this video, I loved it. I love the message. It's if you really pay attention, it takes you back from the hood here, the process. You shot it where?
This video was shot in Jamaica, Montego Bay to be precise. Big up to We Kid, they're in Jamaican media crew that shot it for me.
It's I love the shots and the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, your record label
2-1 Music.
2-1 Music.
Peace for Unity.
2-1 Music.
Yeah.
Peace for Unity. So peace for one.
Yes.
The peace sign.
Every time I say shit by 2-1, people know what's up.
Peace for one. And so now I really want to touch about touch on you deciding to go home to Nigeria. Okay. Right? So you're in the music field. This was back in the day. You're getting started.
2008, 2009. So around 2008, 2009, everybody had the mindset that if you're an Afrobeat star or musician in America and the diaspora, you need to go back to Nigeria if you want to blow. That's the word we use.
Yeah, like if you want to make it.
If you want to make it. So back then, the way Afrobeat is right now, it's not the same way. We, 2-1 Music, me and my guys, we had DC, East Coast on lock. New York, Banky W, Iceberg Slim. LA, Sauce Kid, those are the people that was running entertainment, Afrobeat then here.
Wait,
so,
over here
in America.
In America?
So me, I had the 2-1 crew, me, Alexi, Femsta, Capo, Red Dot, big up to the crew.
So those are big names, man.
So we had the movement here.
Yeah.
And big up to everybody else. Some people slow down, some people are still doing this, some people are, trying. But when I saw someone like Banky W move to Lagos, and I started seeing the kind of endorsements and stuff that started approaching them, I said, look, I can do the same thing too. I saw another cat move to Lagos. I said, look, what am I sitting here? So people didn't respect, a king is not respected at home till you leave that comfort zone and go somewhere else. That's when people will start saying, well, what was reachable is no longer at arm reach. So I had that mindset like, go back to Nigeria, go and do what you have planned and what God has given you. Yeah. So I had the right hustle, the right mind, I had the plan, but I went to Abuja instead of Lagos. And why I did that is Abuja, anybody that's been to Nigeria know Abuja is a laid-back political town. something like DC, Maryland, laid back.
Yeah.
Lagos is more like New York, fast life. So I was one of those, I was in Abuja, but I was shuttling Lagos, going back and forth. I never had the residential to stay in Lagos, so that's what kept me in Abuja. But that was my whole journey in the 5 years. I was moving from Abuja to Lagos.
So 5 years, this was way back in the day.
This was between 2009 to 2015. Finally, I made the decision to come back.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to see that move. What is one thing that you learned from going back to Nigeria?
One thing I learned is, poverty exists.
Okay.
Don't believe everything you see on TV. Don't follow the crowd. Create your own way. Create your own movement. Let people, just because Mr. A did it and he was successful doesn't mean you can do the same thing.
So it's really about finding your own bit to success, not following, because this person did it, I'm going to do this, and maybe that's not the same recipe.
I ain't moving with the crowd. I ain't running after them. I'm just sitting in there. I learned the hard way that what he did does not mean that's what you need to do. And at the same time, while I was there, out of the 5 years, the first 3 years was music for me. The last 2 years was when the real estate side of me started waking up. That's when I started realizing that there's more opportunity than just that for me.
Okay. We have to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Like many Native Americans, Elvis Norquay served our country as a U.S. Marine. But the biggest battle he had to face was fighting for his right to vote. As a nation, we want a fair political process, and yet state legislatures are preventing many Native Americans from voting.
The government can deny my vote. What's to stop them from denying yours?
The Native American Rights Fund is fighting for every American's constitutional right to vote. Get involved at narf.org.
Well, welcome back to Africa's Triumph. So, Wally, we're just going to kick off right. You were talking about going to Nigeria, coming back here. So all that happened. How did you, when you talk about being triumphant, you're really looking at a story of trial. So what are some of the challenges that you have faced as a young African finding himself and his path?
Well, a lot of people
And then tell us about the Afro experience. Why is it important to get that Afro experience to the world?
Okay. So, for example, if you look at some musicians nowadays, you say some people they've had their prime. It's not that someone like, for example, let me come to America.
We'll have to wrap it up.
Okay. Okay, so check this out.
Okay.
With my own experience of moving back home and being able to understand that home is not the same way you left it.
Okay.
I was able to understand that now that you are an American, you have to find a way to survive, knowing what is going on in this world and knowing what is going on in this world. So me coming back after that 5-year experience got me to understand that, look, life is only of a certain time. You're not going to be here forever. Whatever you can do between this time frame that you have left in this world, make the best impact. Be the best of yourself. Become the best version of yourself.
Whatever you can do in this world, that's the word you're living us. Make the best impact.
Make the best impact.
Become the best version of yourself.
Yes.
Well, it's time to go, guys. And I want to wrap up this episode with an African proverb that says, however long the night, the dawn will break. So it has been fun chatting with our special guest, aka MC Wailua. Thanks to our sponsors, Furniture Place. My outfit is by Ruby Designs, located in Lagos, Nigeria. My hair is by Raleigh Professional African Hair Braiding, located inside the Bowie Town Center Strip. Thanks to our team behind the scenes, and of course to our viewers for watching. Bye for now. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at TANTV Studios. Subscribe to our website at tantvstudios.com for more content that inspires you to change the world.